So we've got about 15 minutes on United Airlines. We've got a bit of product information. We're going to tell you all about the app because if anyone's seen this face before, they know that it's all about the app. And a couple of videos. So I'm going to start with the videos just to give you a feel of who, what, where, how, and where we are at the moment. So this is the fingers crossed bit because this is, this is where it all gets a bit tricky. So here we go.
You're going to like this story because it's about you. You who forgot to charge your phone last night. You who sprints to the boarding line so your bag will fit. You with him. Until one day you boarded a United plane that was designed for, well, you. And your phone got charged, your bag fit, so did everyone else's, but this story isn't about them. Your toddler didn't tantrum, and you got to fly happily ever after. The end.
Look at that, all the happy faces there. Right, so folks, and I know I apologise, it's pictures of seats. We're not going to talk about planes without showing you some seats because let's face it, this is kind of where we are. So we have 4 different seat types on board the aircraft. So we'll start with economy. So let's face it, this is where most of us are going to spend our time. I spent a good 9 hours sitting in that window seat just there last Thursday night. It was all good. I will say we do still offer a free seat assignment. So first and foremost, you can assign the seat for your customers at the time of booking. You do not need to have the ticket issued for anyone who's sitting in a standard economy seat. It's all there ready for you to book. Obviously the video showed things like the Bluetooth headsets and things like that. That's coming with the new aircraft orders. But essentially you get on all sort of package fares, you'd get a free bag. There is Wi-Fi available on board, which allows you to access the free messaging, but we'll come on to that in a minute. Beer and wine served with your meal. It kind of does what it says on the tin. I know I could sit here and wax lyrical about a seat, but it is a seat, and this is what it does, and it's free to book. The next section up would be Economy Plus. Now, this is slightly different because you need to have your ticket issued in order to be able to purchase the seat. So your customers, once their booking's issued and they're all set and their tickets are done, they can go onto the system, they can select the extra legroom seats, and they can pay for them. So it's not a different cabin. It's not a different lifestyle. It's not a better looking crew. It's just the extra legroom. So they tend to, when you look at a seat map, they're denoted in the dark blue seating. So depends on the aircraft type. It might be all the window seats if you're flying to Newark. It might be the first few rows if you're on a 787 to Denver, for example. But there's ways that you can check that online or on the app, so you can see where those seats are available. United also, like Mark says, I'm a veteran. Like, I'll give you that one, mate. I'll give you that one. It's 19 years nearly, and we were asking for this when I first joined the company, and finally we have a premium. So when you're looking for these seats, if you're booking in a GDS, it's R, O, and A class. It is a true premium cabin. It's a separate cabin. I will say it's and this, I always say to people, this sounds a bit like a sales pitch, but when you're looking at these seats, they go really quickly because it's a small cabin. If you've sometimes we have conversations say, oh, we could upgrade to that later. It's not really the sort of cabin where you can upgrade later on because it's such a small cabin. If your customers are looking at this, I would really recommend that they book it, and they book it there and then, as opposed to trying to upgrade later. It's not going to be a more competitive fare or anything like that. But they do get the Saks Fifth Avenue bedding that's available in the business class as well. Obviously, they're slightly larger screens. You get 2 checked bags. This doesn't come with a complimentary lounge, but you can purchase lounge access via the United app, and it's a reduced cost. So the general cost for the lounge is $59. Anyone can purchase that. If you have a Premium Plus seat in your booking, I think it goes down to $45. I need to fact check that, but I'm pretty sure it takes it down to about $45. And for that, you can access any of the United clubs on the network. We then have the Polaris business class, and if your customers are lucky enough to be up front here, it is just a slice of wonderful. So sleep themed amenity kits. We've just introduced the Therabody spa bits and pieces into the amenity kits, which come with a little eye roller, and oh, it's lovely. It's lovely. Saks Fifth Avenue bedding, again, it comes in a little sort of like deep pack of duvet and pillow, so you can get all hunkered down and have a kip on the flight. The Polaris business class actually has a dedicated lounge, so it comes with access to a dedicated Polaris lounge, which are purely for those customers sitting in that cabin. So Polaris customers use the Polaris lounge. Premium Plus customers would use a United Club, so they're two different parts of the airport. And yeah, as I say, it comes with all the bells and whistles. So all the fares that you book have all of those amenities included. Right, this is the bit where I get excited. And again, apologies to anyone that knows this already, but download the app, guys. It's the best thing since toast. It's the easiest thing to use, and it's going to be your best port of call for all your United information. So it sits with the customer in the middle there. You can check all of your flight information, service recovery, airport information. I have to caveat this at the end with, we sometimes have to tell this story in a negative way, because we talk about if things are delayed and things like that, but it does happen. I cannot sit here in front of you truthfully and say we're never ever delayed, because every carrier will have that issue at some point. But this really does make it easy for us to be in touch with the customer and fix an issue if there is one. So the app's available on all your normal app store places. Go grab it. It's a great resource for you guys too. We've enhanced our seating for families. So again, this is something that you can look at within the app. It will pick out parties where there are children under 12 and seat everyone together. Like I say, again, the customers can go in and choose their own seat. If they're, once they've got their booking, they log it into the app. They can go in and look at the seat map and pick their seats as and when. But otherwise, we'll do our very best to seat families together. It also gives you the facility to pre-book snacks. This is available 24 hours prior to departure. So, for example, obviously on the international sector, if you're flying London to, let's say, for example, Washington, and then connecting on down to Florida, the Washington flight obviously will have a meal service included and drinks and all of that good stuff. But the Washington to Florida service will be a domestic service. So it'll be something where there'll be snacks for purchase. But you can pre-order these within 24 hours on the app, which again, if you're flying with families, if you've got young children, it just takes a little bit of that stress out of knowing that we're going to be catered, or their kids have got a drink and a bag of crisps or something, and they know what movies are on board, because that's also available within the app. You can check what entertainment's available. So again, like I say, 24 hours prior to departure, you can go in and prepay for snacks. Now, this is the bit about the service recovery. So things like bag drops. If you've got customers who have already checked in on the app, it gives them a shortcut to go and drop off their checked bags. It tells you where the green sign is at the airport, gives you a gate number or like a door number at the airport, where they're all sort of like the doors are all numbered when you cut up to departures. It'll tell you where those bag drops are. There's maps of airports. It'll tell you where lounges are. If you've got customers that have maybe purchased a lounge, say for example, they're flying via Denver and they want to know where the United Club is in Denver, they can go and find out where the nearest lounge is to their gate. It will give you boarding pass information. It will give you gate information. So if the gate changes, we've all been in that place where we're like, oh, it's gate 47, it's gate 47, it's gate 47, then all of a sudden it's gate 37. So that it will push a message through if you've got the notifications activated. Tracks your plane, tells you where your aircraft's coming from, gives you information on what amenities are on board, what meal service you're going to get, if there's Wi-Fi, if there's USB plugins, all of those things that make your customer's journey easier and just alleviate that little bit of stress if they're a little bit concerned about what's where and all that kind of thing. It's all in the app. It also tracks your bags. I mean, it's a standing joke that we come on talk about tracking bags and where your underwear is. But if you've got a bag within the system, it will show it on the app. It will show that it's boarded a flight, and it will show that it's arrived in the bag reclaim area. Which, again, when we talk about US travel, having bags is one of those things that just it's the question. People are like, "Oh, I lost my bag," but you can track it. It'll tell you where it is on every stage of your journey. The app also gives you access to free in-flight messaging. Now, this, you go into the app, they call it the hamburger. I never got over this when I heard this the other week. So, you know, the three little lines that are in your app, your little information bit, apparently it's the hamburger. Who knew? So you go into your hamburger and then you select the in-flight messaging, basically say yes to that. It will link you into the aircraft system, and then you can message not just the person in the next seat. I'm messaging my mum, like back home on the Isle of Wight. Hey mum, we're halfway there. I'll text you when I get to the hotel, all of that kind of thing. And while that all sounds like fluff and, you know, all good stuff, it's got practical uses. If you've got, you know, again, families traveling, maybe they're traveling to meet family at the other end, they can text and let them know, you know, the flight's landed, we're coming through, if they're on connections. Or I always sort of give the example of maybe you've got like multi-generational trips, and you've got a family flying out of London, and then they're meeting the grandparents who are maybe coming from Edinburgh, and they can both be on texting each other to say that they've landed and that they can meet in bag reclaim and all that good stuff. So that is available via the app also. Things like connection saver, rebook to a face-to-face agent if there was an issue with the flight. And again, we caveat this with, it doesn't always happen, but there are times when it does. That you can link into, you scan the QR code and it will link you into a face-to-face conversation with a United reservations agent who can help you rebook. And again, that's just peace of mind for your customers, for your travelers. Oh gosh, connection saver. So I'm running out of time, guys, but this is absolute genius. This allows us to hold a flight. So if we have a customer, this will blow up your question section, Mark. So if you have a customer who's on a connecting flight, they're on a tight connection, maybe due to bad weather at the point of origin. Connection saver will send a message to the gate and say to the gate agent, hold this flight for 30 minutes. Mr. and Mrs. Jones are in the airport. They're going to make the flight. If you can give them that 30 minutes, they'll make the connection. And it allows us to hold the flight for them. It's far too much to explain in just a few moments, but it is there, and the app is the way we tell customers that they've got this facility available to them. Right, folks, I'm very aware that we're running out of time. So there is a QR code here. I'm sure you guys have access to this presentation over at Travel Gossip. But feel free to scan the QR code. You can download the app, use it as a tool for you guys to look at flights, check flight information, check seating, all of that kind of thing. It's all there. You can also sign up to a United newsletter, which comes through. It's give or take quarterly, but it's only ever if there's, you know, pertinent information. We're not going to spam your inbox with every nuance of what's going on. It's just the relevant information to the UK market. We're flying 17 flights over the winter, so we have daily to Denver, 5/6 to Newark, Washington, Houston, Los Angeles, Chicago, and San Francisco. As I say, slightly reduced service in the winter just for timings and that kind of thing. We were up to 23 last summer, so hopefully we're back to something near that next summer as well. No change in the destinations. That all remains what you see there, those gateways. We also have an agency support, so you have a UK dedicated agency support line, and United Jetstream. I would encourage, say, Google United Jetstream. It's your agency portal. All the information you need on ticketing, families, pets in cabin, all of that kind of information sits on the Jetstream pages.